Hello, and thank you for joining this semi-annual troubleshooting training. During this training, we'll cover some of the most common errors and frequently asked questions that service coordinators will come across when completing their semi-annual report. The first item that service coordinators will notice is that they will report that they will change information within Service Point, rerun the report, but the data is exactly the same. The response to this is that all corrections take 1 business day to show up on the semi-annual report. There's a separate server from the application server where you enter the data, and the reporting server where the semi-annual report is populated. So, if you make a correction today, the change won't be visible on the report until tomorrow, 1 business day later. If you want to know the exact date and time in which the report is viewing the data in the system, if you go to the advanced reporting tool, you can see at the bottom of the screen there is a last warehouse build, and this will show the exact date and time in which data collected prior to this date will show up in the semi-annual, and data collected after this date will not. Second question that we will frequently get is that sections 8 through 14, the sections pertaining to administrative data of the semi-annual, will be blank. So they follow the correct workflow, but they enter the administrative data, and in the semi-annual, there's just nothing there. The most common thing that happens here is that the prompt for enter resident property is often incorrectly selected. It's important when filling out the prompts you go line by line and fill each one incorrectly. And this one is pertaining to enter resident property. You need to make sure that you choose your SC property option and not your SC program option. If you choose the service coordination program twice, the administrative data just will not come into the report. Section number 3, or section number 6, is basically the same type of idea that you're entering services into the system, but section number 6 is completely blank. Generally, we're going to see 2 major reasons for this. The first one is that it pertains to the data entry that you're doing. A lot of service coordinators will think that they just need to put in case notes, that if you go to the goals section and enter a case note, somehow the report will be able to understand that this case note was pertaining to a particular service. The important piece to note is that section 6 exclusively looks at services to populate this section. So that means you'll actually need to go to the Service Transactions tab and add services or add multiple services in order to get this section to populate. The other way you could add services is by utilizing ScanPoint. I would strongly encourage every service coordinator to know ScanPoint, how to use ScanPoint. It's a really valuable tool for bulk adding services, and we have a separate video on how to enter data utilizing ScanPoint. Now, the second thing that will sometimes come up is that the prompt for name of service coordinator will be incorrectly filled in. The name of service coordinator prompt that comes into the semi-annual report filters which services are seen. So if you have multiple service coordinators completing data entry, you'll need to select the names of multiple service coordinators. If you have an administrative assistant doing some type of data entry, you would need to choose their name. If you had a change in service coordinators, let's say you had one service coordinator at the start of the semi-annual and a second service coordinator at the end, and the second one had replaced the first, you'll need to select both service coordinators, the old one and the new one, in order to get the report to correctly populate all of the services that you need. The next question we frequently get is that a user cannot download the report. They say they're just not able to do it. The way that you download the report within Service Point is along the top left-hand corner in Art. There is a black arrow icon next to the document button. You'll want to choose the option that says Save to my computer as and select PDF. I've got a screenshot of this. Up at the top left-hand corner, you'll click on the downward arrow icon, and you've got 2 options, Save to my computer as and Save report to my computer as. You want to choose this top one, Save to my computer as, and choose a PDF. This will open a prompt box for you depending on what your browser looks like. So if you're using Google Chrome, it will come down at the bottom left. If you're using Mozilla Firefox, it'll come up to the download icon at the top right hand corner, and you just have to know your browser to understand how the PDF is going to be saved. From there, you just save and print as you normally would any other document on your computer. Number 5, this is kind of a more generic one. Users will often ask, how do I make corrections to a particular section? I know that I had, a certain number of exits and they went to a certain number of destinations, but the number's wrong. How do I make those changes? All of the changes in the semi-annual are rolled up from the data collected on individual client records. What that means is that if you need to fix an overall aggregate total number, you need to go to the underlying data. You need to go to the individual client record. We made up this table that basically shows each of the individual items that need to be adjusted and where you would make that adjustment. So for example, if you are missing date of birth scores, in order to adjust the date of birth, you're going to follow this instruction. You'll go to the entry exit tab, you'll click the entry pencil icon, and you'll go to the SC universal intake. That's where you'll find the information on completing and updating a person's date of birth. We did this for a number of the common places that service coordinators have requested changes within their semi-annual. So the Vulnerable Elders Survey, program and property enrollments, places where you record services, and it just sort of gives a little bit of a guide. This is in no way a replacement for the standard training that you would receive or the standard training that you would go to in order to understand how to do the data entry, but hopefully it will help guide where exactly individual sections can be updated within ServicePoint. The next question and final question is, what exactly am I supposed to submit to HUD? A lot of service coordinators will think that you can just download the document from ServicePoint and email that over to your HUD representative. The thing is that HUD really needs to use their specific fillable form. It allows them to aggregate data from all the service coordination programs across the nation and across multiple different agencies. So not just Volunteers of America, but other social service agencies. So we really need to use HUD's specific fillable form. So first you download that form, and then you use the ServicePoint output to inform your data entry on the HUD semi-annual specific fillable form. You need to send HUD the specific fillable form back to them. You don't send them any output directly from ServicePoint. Thank you very much for joining this training.